My fiancée and her family called me poor behind my back, so I bought her dream venue. And used it for a different bride. I'm a 30-year-old software engineer, and for most of the past 4 years, I was convinced I had everything a man could hope for. A stable career, a decent apartment, and the woman I thought I'd spend the rest of my life with. Claire. She was everything I wasn't, at least on paper. Polished, poised, grew up in a neighborhood where the lawns are manicured by hired help, and family vacations happen in Europe, not 2 towns over. Her family always carried themselves with this curated elegance, smiles too tight, hugs that never touched the soul. But I told myself they were just old-fashioned, reserved. Claire said they'd warm up eventually. They're just protective, she'd say, resting her head on my shoulder, fingers lazily tracing circles on my chest. They'll love you once they see what I see. Believed her. I wanted to believe her, especially when she'd talk about the future with so much certainty, marriage, kids, our forever home. She had this dream of getting married at this countryside estate, some massive Victorian-style venue with fountains, glass conservatories, and chandeliers that looked like they belonged in a royal palace. We visited it once. She lit up like a child walking into Disneyland for the first time. I couldn't stop staring at her the whole time. Not the marble floors or the velvet drapes, just her. The way her eyes sparkled when she touched the stone banister. How she whispered, "I used to picture myself walking down this staircase in a wedding dress." I knew it was stupid. That venue was way out of budget. Way out of my world. But in that moment, I didn't care. I'll make it happen, I told her. Even if it takes every bonus check I've saved. She just smiled and kissed me. I didn't notice the way she didn't say, "You don't have to," and I really wish I had, because that promise would cost me more than just money. It was a Thursday evening. Claire had invited me over for dinner at her parents' place. A casual night, she said, just the family and some lasagna. I wrapped up work early and thought I'd surprise her by arriving ahead of schedule with her favorite wine. Big mistake. I still had my keys from that weekend when we stayed over, so I let myself in through the side entrance like I always did. The scent of garlic bread hit me first, warm and familiar, followed by the faint sound of laughter coming from the sunroom. I was about to call out when I heard my name. She really said yes to that ring? Claire's sister snorted. I've seen better in vending machines. Then Claire chimed in, half laughing, "It's modest. He's trying, I guess." Her mom didn't even bother lowering her voice. Let him pay for the venue if it makes his broke self feel important. At least that way we get something nice out of this joke. I froze. For a second, I honestly thought I was dreaming, like my brain had made up the worst-case scenario just to mess with me. But no, it was real. Their voices were sharp, clear, and full of casual cruelty. "And Claire?" She didn't say a single word to stop them. No defense. No pushback. Just silence wrapped in soft laughter. I backed away quietly as I could and slipped out the door before they even knew I was there. The drive home was a blur. I kept replaying the conversation in my head, hoping I'd misheard something, anything, but I hadn't. Every word was crystal clear. That night, I didn't sleep. Instead, I stared at the ceiling and thought about every weird glance her mom had given me. Every moment her dad ignored me. Every time Claire told me I was being too sensitive. Turns out I hadn't been sensitive enough. The next morning, she texted me like nothing had happened. "Good morning, love." She followed it with a selfie in her bathrobe, messy bun, and that same soft smile I used to live for. I stared at the screen for a long time. When I saw her later that afternoon, she kissed me on the cheek, made my coffee just the way I like it, and curled up next to me on the couch like the woman who used to feel like home. She laughed at my corny jokes. Played with the buttons on my shirt. She even brought up honeymoon ideas, Greece maybe, or Bali. "We can go anywhere you want, babe," I wanted to scream. Instead, I asked her, gently, if she really believed we were on the same page financially. Emotionally, socially. She frowned a little, then leaned her head on my shoulder. "You're overthinking again," she said. "You know I love you. Who cares what anyone else says?" I didn't respond. I just let her keep talking. Let her arms wrap around me. Let her kiss my jaw and whisper I was the best thing that ever happened to her. But all I could think about were her words from the night before. He's trying, I guess. Later that night, I sat alone in my apartment, Scrolling back through years of texts, DMs, emails, I reread the message she sent when we first started dating. I love that you're grounded. You're not like the guys I grew up around. I used to think that was a compliment. Now it felt like code for you'll work harder to impress me. I looked through photos, gifts I gave, trips I paid for, weekends I planned. In every image, I saw myself trying, reaching, stretching, and I started to wonder, was I ever her partner? Or just her project? I don't know what possessed me to do it. Maybe I wanted to believe in the version of her I fell in love with. Maybe I needed one last chance to be wrong about her. Or maybe, deep down, I just wanted proof. Either way, I did it. I went behind her back and booked the estate. The estate. The one she'd been dreaming about since she was 16. No payment plans. No family contributions. I liquidated a stock bonus, drained my vacation fund, and paid in full. I didn't tell a soul. Not even my best friend. I needed her reaction to be real. Raw. Honest. A week later, I told her we were going for a venue tour. She was half distracted on the drive, scrolling Pinterest and talking about color palettes. The moment we pulled up to the estate gates, she froze. Her hand went to her mouth. No freaking way. I just smiled and handed her a small envelope, the booking confirmation with our names printed in gold at the top. She opened it with shaking hands, her eyes welling up. You actually did it? Her voice cracked. For a second, I saw something real in her eyes. Then it vanished. She giggled, tucked the envelope into her purse, and said, "Well, took you long enough." That line, it sliced through me like ice water. Not thank you. Not I can't believe you did this. Just entitlement wrapped in a joke. Like it was expected. Like it was overdue. I laughed it off. I had to. She kissed me and asked if we could walk through the reception hall again. I nodded. She twirled under the chandelier like a princess, but inside something snapped. Not loud, not dramatic. Just quiet and permanent. A string that once held me to her. Finally broke. 2 days later, we were lounging on her couch, scrolling through takeout menus and pretending we were just another happy couple on a lazy Saturday night. Her phone buzzed. She groaned and handed it to me. "Can you order sushi?" My battery's low. I took it without thinking, until I saw an unfamiliar app tucked away in a folder, labeled with a single emoji, curiosity. Isn't always a blessing. I tapped it. Inside were dozens of hidden photos and screenshots. Some of me taken candidly, others of my apartment, my car, my shoes, each one followed by screenshots of texts with her sister, her friends, all mocking, "Can you believe this is where he lives? Looks like a startup dorm. I swear his couch smells like college." Budget boy strikes again. My throat tightened, then I saw a mirror selfie. She was in one of her power suits captioned, "Miss CEO deserves better than a tech boy with IKEA furniture." I kept scrolling. My hands were shaking, and then I found it, a short video. She was alone in her room, full makeup, smirking at the camera. "I know what you're thinking," she said. "But listen, he's a stepping stone. Once I get that promotion, I'm out. I'll trade up. Maybe someone from the partner tier. He's sweet, though, so I'll keep him warm until I don't need to anymore." I don't know how long I sat there. Time stopped. All the laughter, the intimacy, the dreams. We weren't building a life together. I was her placeholder. Un résumé booster. Her emotional Airbnb. I locked the phone. Ordered nothing. She came back from the bathroom, plopped down beside me, and asked, "Did you get the California rolls?" I smiled. Not yet. But inside, something in me was already gone. I could have confronted her that night. Thrown the phone, demanded answers, stormed out. But I didn't. I looked at her laughing at some TikTok video, completely oblivious, and something in me shifted. Not rage, not heartbreak, just calculation. She thought I was still under her spell, that I'd keep chasing, keep proving myself. So I let her think that. I kissed her on the forehead, whispered, "I love you," with the same breath I used to mean it. And in return, she gave me that smug little smile, the one she wore when she knew she was winning. From that moment on, I was done playing boyfriend. I started playing chess. That night, I backed up everything, photos, screenshots, the video, every cruel caption, every group chat thread. I saved them to 2 hard drives, encrypted a copy to the cloud, and labeled it contingency. Next, I went over our shared accounts. She didn't have access to my investment portfolio, just the wedding fund and a few joint vendor deposits. I paused all outgoing payments, emailed the florist, the caterer, the DJ, told them we were reassessing logistics due to scheduling conflicts. They all agreed to hold off. No questions asked. Then came the prenup. I told her my financial advisor recommended it. Just to protect both of us, I said. Standard practice for anyone in tech. She barely looked up from her coffee before saying, "Sure, whatever makes you feel secure." She didn't even read it. Her confidence was blinding. She thought I was too lovesick to ever leave, too grateful to ever question, and way too budget to outmaneuver her. But she forgot one thing. I may not come from money, but I come from survival, and I was done being anyone's stepping stone. Now, I was just waiting for the perfect move. I was sitting at my desk, headphones on, half listening to a Zoom call, when the message popped up. Daniel M. Hey man, I know this is out of nowhere, but I think you deserve a heads up. It took me a second to place the name. Daniel, Claire's ex. The one she always swore was toxic, clingy, obsessed. The guy she claimed blocked her on everything years ago. He continued. Claire reached out to me a few weeks ago. Said she needed closure. We met for drinks. Nothing happened, I swear. But she said some things that didn't sit right with me. She told me she's thinking of calling off the wedding. Said she's keeping the venue no matter what, because it'll still be useful when the right guy comes along. Bro, I know we've never talked, but I couldn't stay quiet after that. I stared at the screen like it was written in another language. My stomach flipped. My ears started ringing. And suddenly, everything made horrifying sense. She wasn't just mocking me behind closed doors. She wasn't just tolerating me while fantasizing about better. She was actively planning to replace me. She was using my money, my name, my love. To build a wedding for whoever came next, I replied only once. Thanks for telling me. That must have been awkward as hell. I appreciate it. He responded, I've done some messed up things, but even I wouldn't do what she's doing to you. Good luck, man. I didn't reply again. I sat there staring at our engagement photo on my desk. She was wearing that fake smile. I was grinning like an idiot. I remembered how proud I felt booking that estate, how hard I worked to make her dreams come true. Turns out, I was just building a palace for another king. I didn't yell. I didn't confront her. I didn't give her the satisfaction of drama. I just disappeared. One morning, I waited until she left for a spa day with her sister. She kissed my cheek like usual, humming something under her breath, and floated out the door like the world belonged to her. She had no idea that would be the last time she'd see me. I packed up everything I owned in 2 hours flat, cleared my half of the closet, pulled my computer, passport, backups, the prenup copy, all of it. I left the key on the counter with a note that simply read, "Thank you for showing me who you are." By noon, my number was deactivated. Socials wiped clean. Email changed. I rerouted my mail, moved into a short-term rental under a business account, and told only 2 people where I was. Not even my closest friends knew the full story. That evening, the calls started. 37 missed calls. 22 texts. 3 voicemails in a row, all from Claire. Where are you? This isn't funny. Are you seriously doing this right before the wedding? Then her mom. You better not embarrass our daughter like this. You don't know who you're dealing with. I actually laughed out loud when I read that one. They were scared, and they should be, because I didn't just leave. I was building something. Not for revenge, not exactly. I wasn't going to scream or expose her. No viral threads. No dramatic public takedowns. I was planning something quiet. Something poetic. Something that would make her regret underestimating me every single day for the rest of her life. The kind of goodbye she'd never see coming. Exactly 7 days after I vanished, I woke up to a flurry of notifications from a burner account I used to monitor public posts. Claire had gone viral. There she was, on TikTok, curled up in her parents' guest bedroom, no makeup, puffy eyes, soft piano music in the background. The caption read, "He left me 3 weeks before our wedding. No explanation. Just vanished." Her voice trembled as she spoke into the camera. "I gave him everything. My heart, my loyalty, my trust. And he ghosted me like I was nothing. I don't know what I did wrong. It had 68,000 likes by lunch. People flooded the comments with empathy. Men are such cowards. You deserve so much better, Queen. Suing him is your only option. Even a few mutual friends, people who'd been to our house, eaten my food, messaged me on my old accounts with guilt-tripping paragraphs. This isn't like you, man. What happened? If you had cold feet, you could have at least talked to her. I wanted to scream. She was lying, again, but this time publicly. With tears, with trembling lips, with expertly cropped cuts to hide the monster beneath the mascara. I almost cracked, almost posted everything. The screenshots, the video, the texts, all of it, but I didn't because I wasn't done yet. The estate still had her wedding date on the calendar. As far as she knew, the venue was paid, the timeline was locked in, and the groom just needed space. She had no idea I'd already rewritten everything. No clue that the guest list had changed. That the caterer had a new name. That the flower arrangements no longer matched her Pinterest board. She thought she'd been ghosted, but really, she was walking into the grand finale, September 14th, the date that was supposed to be Claire's fairy tale. The estate was glowing. Warm string lights stretched across the courtyard. Golden hour hit the marble steps just right. The air was thick with the scent of fresh roses and eucalyptus. Guests laughed over champagne flutes. A violinist played softly under the gazebo. But Claire? Claire wasn't on the guest list because it wasn't her wedding anymore. It was Lily's, my cousin, my best friend. A woman who'd spent her life putting others first, raising her siblings after their mom passed, working 2 jobs, giving up her own wedding dreams because bills came first. Lily had once confided in me over coffee. I used to have a folder of wedding ideas, but I deleted it. Felt silly keeping dreams I couldn't afford. So I gave her the dream, the venue, the vendors, the gown she always wanted but never asked for. Everything Claire had once claimed as hers now belonged to someone who actually deserved it. At 4:17 p.m., Claire arrived, hair done, makeup flawless, white dress fitted and expensive. She walked through the gates like she still owned the day, and then she stopped. Her eyes darted across the courtyard, searching for familiar faces. She saw the floral arch, the chandeliers, the seats filled with people clapping as Lily walked down the aisle in tears, happy ones. Claire's face twisted. She stormed up the steps, grabbing my arm like she still had that right. "What the hell is this?" I looked her dead in the eye. "This place deserved real love," I said. "Not rehearsal." Gasps, cameras clicking, phones recording. I didn't flinch. She opened her mouth, but nothing came out. Her mask, carefully curated, socially polished, cracked under the weight of public humiliation. For once, I didn't have to say a word. The silence said it all. By the next morning, the footage was everywhere. Claire's breakdown at the estate, red-faced, shouting, grabbing at my suit, had been caught from 6 different angles. Guests, staff, even the violinist stopped mid-note to film it. Within 24 hours, it was clipped, stitched, and posted across TikTok, Reddit, Twitter, even Facebook mom groups. The caption that took off? "He gave her the dream wedding." Just not the groom she expected. People started piecing it together. Someone found her original sob story TikTok, the one where she played the heartbroken victim, and stitched it with the footage from the venue. Plot twist. She got ghosted. But turns out she was the villain. Sis tried to scam a man into a wedding and got played at her own game. Budget boy turned out to be boss boy. Her comments were brutal. "Girl, he dodged a missile. You deserve that L. Hope you kept the receipt for that dress." Within 2 days, she deleted every social media account she owned. Gone. Vanished. Like she'd never existed online. But her mom didn't take the hint. She called me from a blocked number, screaming, crying, saying I ruined their family's reputation. Told me I was vindictive trash. That I had no idea what it's like to be embarrassed like that. Her sister wasn't any better. DM'd me threats. Posted passive-aggressive stories calling me a manipulative narcissist with a revenge kink. I didn't respond. Not once. Because I wasn't interested in defending myself anymore. I didn't need to. The truth was out. I just kept building, quietly, calmly. I finished a side project I'd been putting off for months. I went back to the gym. I booked a trip I'd been delaying for years. And every so often, when a friend would send me another viral thread or meme about the story, I'd just smile. Let the world see who she really was. All I had to do was Step out of the frame. I'm not bitter. People assume I must be. That I'm carrying some deep grudge, walking around with revenge playlists and petty fantasies, but I'm not, because I didn't burn her world down. I just quietly removed myself from it, and somehow that did more damage than any explosion ever could. What Claire never understood is that kindness isn't weakness. Loyalty isn't blindness. And silence isn't surrender, it's strategy. She tried to climb over me to reach her fantasy life. She saw me as a rung on a ladder, good enough to support her weight, not worthy enough to stand beside her at the top. So I took the ladder away and built a rooftop for someone else. Lily and her husband are thriving, by the way. That wedding gave them a boost in ways no one expected. People came together. Doors opened. Love rippled outward in a way that felt earned. And every time I visit them, I feel peace, not regret. As for me, I'm engaged again to someone who saw value in my quiet, not my paycheck. Who met me in a coffee shop wearing sweats, not filters. Who didn't ask me where I went to school. She asked me what made me feel alive. She loved me when I had nothing but my honesty. And somehow that made me feel richer than I ever did while swiping my card for Claire. So no, I didn't ruin Claire. I didn't destroy her. I just stopped carrying her, and she collapsed under the weight of her own performance. In the end, I didn't need revenge. I needed clarity. And once I had it, I walked away clean, because the most powerful move you can make is refusing to play the game at all.